how can I really annoy people
Can I
and make
poison
this
an
game
ocean?
terrible? Yeah.
No Man's Sky is one heck of a divisive game. Many were left disappointed to find the game that offered far fewer features than were actually promised before release, while others were just happy to take the game for what it is. There's no doubt, however, the game is missing a few key ingredients in its celestial soup. So here are the 6 things we think would help No Man's Sky reach its full potential as a sci-fi classic. Yes, we know Hello Games are a small indie team, but come on, there's no harm in dreaming, right?
The reality is, the likelihood of that is tiny.
If there's one thing No Man's Sky is sorely lacking, it's any real story, character, or sense of drama. I mean, I'm not asking for Mass Effect here. I'm just saying there's practically nothing in the game that ties the experience to any kind of story, other than the fairly weak Atlas thread running through the game. The game relies on your own curiosity and hunger for exploration to give you purpose, while offering nothing in the way of narrative, drama, or comedy to drive and entertain you while you play. Of course, it's supposed to be a sandbox, not a roller coaster. But come on, a better sense of setting and a stronger lore for this strange universe would give what is right now a fairly meaningless experience much more character. Look, there's probably a bit too much shooting in video games. But No Man's Sky is one game that makes us wish there was actually more of it. The simple ballcaster and grenades combination the game expects you to use to shoot down small, floating targets every now and then is rubbish. We've even resigned ourselves to sticking to grenades to take out those little buggers in as fast and efficient way as possible. If only this game had the kind of solid shooting mechanics you'd find in something like Destiny or Doom, it would create a whole other layer to the game's appeal. And considering that procedural generation is kind of this game's thing, we can't see any problem with trying to implement a system similar to Borderlands, where you have near infinite possibilities when it comes to your weapons. Why on earth isn't there a jobs board in this game? A simple jobs board at space stations and outposts with small tasks like hunting down space pirates, investigating abandoned outposts, or finding and scanning a particular species of animal would add some much needed purpose to the game. Because there are points when you'll find yourself truly rudderless in No Man's Sky. A simple jobs board like you might find in The Witcher or the MMO RPGs of the olden days would sort this right out, without having to weave a grand narrative with cutscenes and voice acting through the middle of the game. Picture this. You touch down on a planet using the landing pad at a friendly outpost. The place you need to get to is just there. Just there. Rather than awkwardly sprint and jump your way over, you open up your ship's cargo hold to pull out your speeder bike. You hop on and rocket away like Luke Skywalker on the forest moon of Endor. Other games have managed to nail the speeder bike thing perfectly, giving players a fast and enjoyable way to get around large game worlds. And come on, Hello Games, you did kind of steal Destiny's UI already. Why not steal their speeder bikes as well? There are several races in No Man's Sky, but their existence in the world is completely static. Literally. These guys never move. But in the lead up to launch, we were told the game would include factions, warring groups battling it out in space, and a real reputation system that would affect the player's standing with each faction. Well, there is a reputation system in the game, but we really couldn't detect any proper effect it had in gameplay terms, beyond locking off a few dialogue options. It would be awesome if, like Fallout 4 or The Witcher, there were factions in the game that had different relationships with each other, and quest lines that intertwined depending on which you decide to help. Imagine being asked to steal precious cargo from one faction's freighter ship and bring it back to another faction. Or imagine being asked to scout out what outposts and bases a certain faction had on a certain part of the planet, and then returning to find your information had helped another faction take over that region. I want that game. While there's plenty of visual variety to be found in No Man's Sky, almost all the ships, weapons and creatures you find in the game behave more or less the same. Yes, you'll find ships with bigger inventories or a multi-tool that mines 50% quicker, but But your ship still takes off, flies and lands in the same way, it fires the same weapons, it lands on the same landing pads. But what if there were different classes? What if there were stealth class ships, undetectable to pirates? What if there were mining cannons that annihilated big boulders of iron and gold, but were too powerful and clumsy to mine carbon or plutonium? What if you could choose a class that allowed you to sprint for minutes on end and jetpack high up into the limits of the atmosphere, but had weak, flimsy environmental shields that you constantly had to recharge? A class system for weapons, ships, and even the player character themselves could add so much diversity to the game while keeping the existing survival mechanics intact. We think these changes would make No Man's Sky a more meaty and enjoyable experience all round. Why don't you let us know in the comments what features you think the game is missing and what you'd like to see added to it. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and stick around for more videos about games.